My beloved child, you are not a wanderer adrift on the tides of a meaningless life. You have been called out from the crowd, touched by an invisible thread stretching from my heart to yours. Before the first light of dawn ever brushed your brow, before you learned your first letter, I knew your name. I engraved it upon the palm of my hand, Isaiah 49:16. Each heartbeat within your chest is not merely a biological mechanism. It is a secret song I placed within you to remind you that you do not belong to darkness. You belong to the light. So every time you sense a nameless stirring, a restless longing, or a hunger for something beyond yourself, it is no accident. It is my quiet call, the message, awakening your soul to know that you are loved and chosen. Yet that call does not always thunder like the voice on Mount Sinai, nor blaze like Moses' burning bush. Most often it comes as a gentle breeze, as the whisper Elijah heard in the cave, 1 Kings 1:9, 1:12. It comes through interruptions you do not welcome, a changed plan, a canceled meeting, a door you longed for, suddenly closing. It comes in the words of a stranger, a scripture suddenly illuminated, a dream that leaves your heart trembling when you awake. This is no coincidence. I am whispering to you, guiding you through detours that seem meaningless, softening your heart and sharpening your ears. You have asked for guidance, and this is how I lead you. You want to see the Red Sea parted, but I want to teach you to see me in the dew. You long to hear my voice resound, but I want you to learn to listen in the stillness. For in that stillness your heart is truly transformed, and only when transformed will you be ready for what I have prepared. In this world, noise constantly clamors for your attention. Screens flash, notifications crowd, and opinions swirl like a whirlwind. It is easy to confuse my voice with others, or to miss it altogether, because your mind is too full. So I wait. I do not shout to drown out the noise. I wait until you turn everything off and return to me. When you carve out even a brief moment, clearing away all that fills your soul, you will discover I have been there all along, gentle, patient, faithful. I am not a distant God demanding sacrifices to appease me. I am the Father, the Shepherd, the Companion. I speak not to impose, but to guide. I am not seeking perfection in you. I am seeking a listening heart, a heart willing to pause, a heart daring to trust before it sees. You may ask, how can I love you when I cannot see you? My child, such love does not begin as a sudden rush of feeling, but as small daily choices. When you look at someone with compassion instead of judgment, you are loving me. When you slow down enough to listen to a painful story, you are loving me. When you restrain a sharp reply and choose gentle silence, you are loving me. When you make room for another, when you offer a smile while your own heart is breaking, when you pray for the one who hurt you, these are the moments you love me in action. And I see it all. Heaven remembers it all. Not a single tear shed in obedience is forgotten. Not a single act of love loses its eternal weight. You may think these things are meaningless, but they are weaving an eternal tapestry you cannot yet see. When I look at you, I am not counting your failures. I am watching the times you rise, return, keep believing, keep loving. I know you are weary. I know the burdens you carry, the fears, the unanswered questions, the prayers you have hidden away thinking I did not hear. I have heard, I always hear. But I answer not according to your schedule, but to the eternal design. What I withhold is not out of cruelty, but wisdom. What I delay is not abandonment, but protection or preparation. You see silence. I see seed time. You see delay. I see growth. You see loss. I see the space where something new can be planted. Do not mistake my silence for absence. Do not confuse my delay with refusal. I am nearer than your breath. You hem me in behind and before, and you lay your hand upon me, Psalm 1395. There are times you smile while inside you are breaking. There are days you give when there is nothing left to give. There are moments when your flesh wants to run away, yet you choose to stay, to believe, to walk in the light. My child, these are not meaningless. Every trembling I trust you is heard in heaven. Every choice of kindness over retaliation is recorded. Every time you lift your eyes toward me, I see you. You think I demand perfection, but no, I seek your heart, not your resume. Sin is not your home. Come back. At the very moment you whisper, my name, I am present. You may believe I am disappointed in you, but my love has never been withdrawn, not once, not even on your darkest day. You ask why pain is allowed. My beloved, pain never begins in my heart, but I use broken things to bring forth beauty. In fire you are refined, under pressure you are shaped, in loss I draw near. You are not being punished. You are being formed. I will not let your pain be wasted. What once crushed you, I will transform into compassion within you. You once thought yourself invisible, but no, you are the work of my own hands. Every line of your life story carries meaning. There is no one like you on this earth. You are irreplaceable. I do not merely accept you, I delight in you. I am proud of you, not because you do everything right, but because you keep walking, keep trying, keep returning. You say you want to hear my voice more clearly, yet you fill your life with noise. Come to me. Turn off what numbs you. Be still before the voices that drain you. You do not need the world's approval to have worth. You already have mine. There are places I long to take you, but I must prepare you first. You want the promise. I want you ready to receive it. I am growing roots in you, so that when the blessing comes, it will not crush you. What you think is a barren wilderness is actually a place of preparation. I prune what I love. I discipline whom I cherish. You are not forgotten. You are being forged. Do not run from discomfort. It is in the stretching that your soul grows. It is in surrender that you discover true freedom. Do not try to fix yourself by your own strength. Let me, for surrender is not weakness, it is power. When you yield to me, I can act within your life. Trust my hands. Even when you do not understand, my ways, do not fear what lies ahead. I am already here tomorrow. I go before you, and I walk with you. No storm ever catches me off guard. No battle ever makes me falter. I have already written the ending. You are not moving toward failure. You are moving into your destiny. This is the quiet yet steady call. Return to the place of stillness where I am waiting. Cultivate the habit of listening each day as a farmer waters seeds. Do not take lightly each small choice, each moment of silence, each breath of prayer. These are the oil in your lamp, the hidden strength that upholds you in the storm. While others scramble to find light, you will shine because you are continually filled. Do not wait until crisis to remember me. Build your life in me now. Store up oil now. Train your habits now. I multiply what you give. I enlarge what you surrender. I guard what you entrust. Let your roots go deep. Let your heart be soft. Keep your ears open, for I am still whispering, still calling, still preparing you for something greater than you have imagined. My beloved, calling is not only a grand event, a moment of being commissioned before a crowd. True calling is a quiet process where your small daily choices become the bricks of a foundation. People often look for loud signs they want, obvious miracles, public confirmations, resounding prophecies. But I am driving your roots deep where no one can see. In that hidden place, without applause, in the silent faithfulness, I am forming in you a strength that cannot be shaken by the world. Like a tree in the desert reaching its roots down to an underground stream, your soul is learning to draw nourishment from my presence. When the storms come, the rootless will fall, but you will stand not by your strength, but by the foundation I have been quietly building. You often ask why I do not open great doors for you as soon as you desire them. You think you are ready, but I see what lies hidden within. A great door opened without a firm foundation can become a burden that crushes the soul. I do not want the blessing to become a weight for you. I want the blessing to be a rest, a launch pad, an environment for grace to flourish. So I prepare you sometimes with silence, sometimes with small lessons, sometimes with dry seasons, so you learn to drink from the eternal source. Just as Joseph was thrown into a pit and sold as a slave before he became governor of Egypt, you too are in such a process. What seems like delay is actually a launch pad. What seems like loss is actually an invitation to deeper trust. When you look around and see others moving faster, succeeding sooner, receiving recognition more brightly, you ask, "Am I being left behind? Am I on the wrong path, my child?" You are not left behind. I am leading you along a path that no one else can walk for you. Every stretch of your journey bears the imprint of my hand. Every lesson you learn in hiddenness will one day become comfort to thirsty souls. Every time you overcome disappointment and remain faithful, you are storing oil for your lamp. When the night comes, it is that hidden oil which will keep your lamp burning while many others go dark. Remember, faith is not a one-time surge of emotion, but steady faithfulness step by step. Whoever is faithful with little will also be faithful with much. Luke 1:6-10. I have not called you to live in short bursts of excitement, but to build a life as enduring as stone. People count visible results. I watch the long process. People honor sparkling moments. I value the small, steady choices. For it is in those choices that you are being shaped to carry what I have placed upon your shoulders. There are seasons when I seem to withdraw from the conversation, so that you may learn to walk on your own. Do not mistake this for abandonment. I will never abandon it. I am training your soul. Like a father teaching a child to walk at first, holding the hands, then letting go. He does not let go to see the child fall, but to show the child it can stand, can step, can rise. So do I. When you cannot feel me, it is not evidence that I am far away. It is an opportunity for you to discover the strength already planted within you. And in these moments, your faith is being trained into muscle, not just an idea. You may say, "I am so weak. I have nothing of worth. I cannot do great things." But my child, I am not looking for your strength before I love you. I love you in your weakness. My grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 1:9. I do not need you to be perfect before I can use you. I need you to surrender. I need you to open your heart. I need you to come close. I will do the rest. Do not measure your worth by the world's standards. Do not compare your journey to another's. You were made uniquely for a unique purpose. No one else can live your story. My child, it is in the small daily acts, rising early to pray, pausing to listen, choosing truth, when no one is watching, that you are building a foundation no storm can destroy. You may not see the bricks, but I see them. You may not hear the hammer, but I hear it. You may not realize the wall is taking shape, but I am building it. One day, when you step into what I have prepared, you will know it was not in vain. You will see that daily discipline has become a lifestyle of grace. You will find yourself a ready vessel, no longer swayed by praise or criticism. You will walk lightly into places you once only dared to dream. Do not think that I am slow, according to the ways of the world. I am not bound by time. Everything I do has its appointed moment. There is a time for everything. Ecclesiastes 3:1. You want the fruit immediately. I plant the seed and tend the roots. You want a dazzling light. I train you in the darkness so you may learn how to see. You want outward glory. I shape inner glory. When the two meet, you will become one who carries the light, not merely one who chases after it. That is why I call you to return to me daily, not occasionally. Not to place a burden on you, but to protect you from subtle traps. The enemy does not always come with fire and sword. It comes with comfort, with distraction, with harmless compromises that creep in little by little. Only when you anchor yourself in me each day will you discern even the most delicate counterfeit. You may not yet see it all, but I am using everything in your life, the joy and the sorrow, the successes and the failures, to weave a story far greater than you. Every tear becomes a seed. Every waiting becomes a lesson in trust. Every surrender becomes a space for grace to flow in. Do not fear the silent seasons. Do not fear the days when no one sees, no one applauds. These are the days I build you from within, so that when you step out, you will not have to borrow another's flame. You will carry your own flame, kindled by me, sustained by me, guarded by me. My child, the foundation matters more than any towering wall. When the storm comes, it is the foundation that holds the house, not the roof tiles. When trials come, it is discipline that keeps the soul, not emotion. When you stand upon the stage of destiny, it is the hidden hours that will uphold you, not the applause of the crowd. Therefore, do not despise the small days. Do not despise the quiet steps. Do not despise the prayers. No one knows the patience. No one records the forgiveness. No one praises. I see, I remember, I multiply. And one day these very things will become the strength that enables you to walk lightly beneath great responsibility. You are in process, and that process is beautiful in my eyes. You may see yourself as clumsy, slow, insignificant, but I see a seed sprouting. I see a warrior in training. I see a lamp being filled with oil. I see a bearer of hope being formed. Do not lose heart. Do not give up. Do not compare. Keep tending the foundation. Keep coming to me in the secret place. Keep choosing faithfulness over flashiness. For when the time comes, I will bring you into the light, and that light will not blind you. It will make you shine. My beloved, after I have called you out of the crowd and laid the hidden foundation within you, I call you deeper into intimacy, into a continual rhythm of listening. What I am seeking is not merely rare moments of spiritual excitement, but a heart trained daily like a farmer faithfully sowing seed. Whoever sows to the Spirit will reap from the Spirit eternal life. Galatians 6:8. This is why I remind you that habits are not a cage to confine you, but a way of life to set you free. When you learn to come to me every day, not by compulsion but by desire, you will begin to recognize my voice as no longer distant. It will become as familiar as breath, as heartbeat, as a hidden stream running through every circumstance. I know you live in an age that demands immediacy, instant replies, instant results, instant feelings. But the soul cannot be trained in haste. The soul grows in patience. You cannot cook a banquet in seconds, just as you cannot grow in faith by brief flashes of emotion. Like an oak that needs years for its roots to go deep before it can grow tall, you too need time to root yourself in my word. Every day you choose me over noise. Every day you turn back to me over distraction. Every day you stand firm when you feel nothing. These very days make your soul strong. These are the invisible exercises that build an endurance no storm can topple. You may ask yourself, how do I know I am progressing? How do I know I am not wasting my time? My child, look at the silent transformation within. Once a single insult would anger you for days. Now it only stirs your heart for a moment. Once you could not wait even an hour. Now you can wait in peace. Once you sought only outward blessing. Now you treasure my presence above any reward. That is the sign of maturity. That is the sign that I am at work within you. Not all progress is loud. Often it happens quietly, like a seed sprouting underground. When harvest time comes, everyone will see the fruit, but I have seen it from the moment you faithfully watered it. Remember, faith is not the feeling of certainty at every step. Faith is continuing to walk when you see only one step ahead. Your word is a lamp to my feet, a light to my path. Psalm 119:105. A lamp does not light the whole road. It gives enough for the next step. You may not see the whole future, but you can see me, the one who goes before you. As you keep walking in perseverance, each small step becomes a great pathway. As you choose faithfulness in the unseen, you are unlocking doors for what I have prepared. And in that perseverance, you learn to trust me more than yourself. Do not despise the small. Do not despise the daily repetition. Many seek novelty but overlook the power of faithfulness. Just as Israel received manna each day in the wilderness, you too need daily spiritual bread. Yesterday's manna cannot sustain you today. Last week's reading cannot replace today's voice. Last year's promise must be renewed in your mind today. That is why I call you to seek me daily, not to burden you, but to keep you alive. As the body needs breath, the soul needs my presence. When you neglect that daily presence, your soul begins to wither without your noticing. I know the enemy is not afraid to wait. He does not need to destroy you in a single day. He only needs you to stop listening little by little. Every time you ignore the whisper, every time you silence the gentle prompting, every time you compromise with truth that seems harmless, you drift farther away. Drifting does not happen with one great fall. It happens through small steps. Distance becomes callousness. Callousness becomes deception. Deception becomes darkness. That is why I warn you not to shame you, but to wake you up. I love you too much to stay silent when I see you drifting. I love you too much not to remind you of the danger. I love you too much not to call you back. Build an altar in your heart, not an altar of stone, but the habit of seeking me. For fire only falls upon the altar. You pray for revival, but revival begins with personal habit. You long for the fire, but the fire only falls upon a place prepared. You want to see miracles, but I want to see obedience. This is not a dry formula. It is a principle of life. When you come to me each day, you are laying wood upon the altar. When you read my word in the silence, you are kindling the fire within. When you choose me over distraction, you are pouring oil into the lamp. And one day the fire will break forth not by your striving, but by me. You may think I am demanding much, but in truth I am inviting you into freedom. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. Freedom is living in the rhythm of grace, where the chains that once held you simply fall away. When you maintain closeness with me, the enemy cannot lull you into the sleep of apathy. When you persist, you become sharp in discerning right from wrong. When you sustain secret worship, you become strong before public temptation. This is the quiet power of daily closeness. My child, I do not only invite you to come and receive, I invite you to come and know me. I do not only invite you to be upheld, I invite you to walk with me. I do not only invite you to hear promises, I invite you to share my heart. As you sit with me, as you listen to me, as you make room for me, you will begin to sense a transformation beyond understanding. You will realize you are no longer one who chases after miracles, but one who carries miracles. You will realize you are no longer one who begs for fire, but one who keeps the fire. You will realize you are no longer one who fears the darkness, but one who shines in the darkness. This is my call to you in this very hour. Do not wait until the crisis to run back. Do not wait until the fire has gone out to seek oil. Do not wait until the heart has grown hard to seek softness. Come now. Choose now. Lay the foundation every day. Step into closeness as a lifestyle, not an event. As you do this, you will find that I am never far, I am never silent in the way of abandonment. I am preparing you, shaping you into a vessel of hope, of light, of life. I have gone before you, I am walking with you, and I will come behind you to guard you. You need not fear the future. The future is in my hands. You need not fear the present. The present is under my covering. You need not regret the past. The past is being transformed by me. Trust me. Trust me even when the map disappears. Trust me even when my word says wait instead of go. Trust me even when you do not understand why. Trust me even when you are weak. For faith is not the absence of doubt. Faith is bringing your doubt to me. Faith is not the absence of fear. Faith is moving forward despite fear. Faith is not feeling strong. Faith is leaning on my strength when you are weak. And it is in this very process that you will become a different person, a person you never imagined. You will step out of the shadow of doubt into the light of trust. You will step out of the chaos of the world into the rhythm of heaven. You will become a living testimony that grace is never in vain. I have called you, I am building you, and I will complete the work for you. Keep close to me. Keep cultivating perseverance. Keep listening to my voice. As you do, you will not only be sustained, you will be transformed, used to transform others. The fire within you will become a light for those who are lost. Every hidden act of love will become a brick, building a house of refuge for many souls. And when the storm comes, you will not only stand firm, you will become a shelter. That is why I call you today, in this very hour, not to miss my quiet yet powerful call. My beloved, you never have to walk in total darkness. Every step that feels aimless has already been ordered by me within my eternal plan. Before you faced the trial, I was there. Before you entered the valley, I had marked the summit. The Lord Himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Deuteronomy 3:1-8. You are not alone in the journey. I am the one who goes before to make a way, and the one who comes behind to guard you. Every corner you are about to turn is within my reach, and no darkness can stop the light I cast upon your path. You once felt bewildered when a door closed, a dream dissolved, a plan you thought certain suddenly collapsed. You thought you had lost your way, but in fact I was pulling you off a path leading to destruction. Just as when I blocked Israel's way at the Red Sea, they thought it was a dead end, but in truth it was an opportunity for my glory to be revealed. So it is with the doors that close in your life. They are not rejection, but protection. Delays are not abandonment, but invitations to trust me long enough for me to bring you into the appointed season. I know every winding road I see, every pit ahead, and I arrange even detours to become part of the map of grace. The journey is not only about reaching the destination, but about being transformed along the way. I do not lead you by the shortest path, for you are not yet ready to bear it all. Just as when I did not take my people through the land of the Philistines after Egypt because they were not ready for battle. Exodus 1:3-1:7-18. I led them by the desert road so they could learn to trust me, to live on manna too. Follow the pillar of cloud and the pillar of fire. So it is with you. I lead you through seasons that seem barren, so you will know that I alone am your source. I allow you to walk through unclear days, so you will learn to hold my hand instead of a map. Do not fear the detours. They are not meaningless. Every winding step is training your eyes to see me and your ears to hear me. I know you long for certainty. You want to see the whole picture, to know each step ahead. But my child, if I showed you everything, you would rely on your own wisdom instead of my guidance. That is why I am only light enough for the next step, like a lamp at night that does not shine on the whole road, but gives enough for one step. So is my word. You do not need to know everything. You only need to know me. You do not need to hold the whole map. You only need to hold my hand. And in that trust, you will find you never lose your way. As I go before you, I also prepare the people who will walk with you. Sometimes I bring allies you did not expect, like Ruth finding Boaz in the field, like David finding Jonathan in the palace. But sometimes I remove certain relationships, so you will not be pulled off the path. Do not grieve when I take some people out of your journey. It is not because they are evil, but because they do not belong to the season you are in. Every encounter has its appointed time. Every separation has its purpose. I am the one who arranges, and I never make a mistake. Do not think that the surprises in your life are beyond my control. Even the events that seem chaotic are held within my plan. When Joseph was sold into slavery, when he was falsely accused and thrown into prison, he did not see my hand. But when he became prime minister, he understood that I had gone ahead of him to preserve life for his whole family. Genesis 5:0-20. In the same way, a day will come when you look back and see that every pain, every delay, every winding path was a step I had already walked to prepare the way for you. Not a single tear has been wasted. Not a single day of waiting has been in vain. All of it is being woven into a larger tapestry, a tapestry you will only see fully in eternity. Do not tremble before the trials that have not yet come. You fear the high mountain, but I have already placed in your hands the rope and the staff to climb. You fear the storm, but I have already taught you to stand firm in the wind. You fear lack, but I have already prepared manna. You fear loneliness, but I have already sent my angels ahead to guard you. In the very things you think you cannot bear, you will see my strength revealed. In the days you think are hopeless, you will see heavenly hope arise. In the places you think are desolate, you will hear my voice most clearly. I have gone ahead of you. I have prepared a table in the wilderness. I have brought forth water from the rock. I have left my marks upon the path. Do not let the fear of the future bind your present. Do not let the fog conceal the truth that I am still governing all things. You do not walk in darkness, you walk in the light I give. Even when everything around you seems dim, the light within you will never go out, because I, myself, am your source of light. I go before you to open the way. I walk beside you to uphold you. I go behind you to protect you. You cannot step outside my embrace, for I have surrounded you before and behind. Here is your assurance: you do not walk to reach victory. You walk from the victory already secured. I have overcome the world. I have broken the chains. I have flung wide the door of life. So lift up your head, walk in trust. Know that every step you take has been marked by my love and power. Do not only long for the destination, rejoice even in the journey, for this very journey is transforming you into a new person, ready for what I have prepared. My beloved child, when I have gone ahead to prepare the way, I also want you to learn how to walk in the daily rhythm of wisdom. For blessing is not only received with open hands, it is sustained by a disciplined life. You cannot hope to fully enjoy my purposes if you only wait passively without cooperating with me through your daily choices. That is why I teach you practical principles, not to bind you but to set you free. As you walk in these principles, you will find that my promises are not a distant concept, but a living reality in the midst of everyday life. The first principle is to steward your time wisely. Time is a gift I give, but it is also a test. People easily squander golden hours on what is empty, but my child, every moment carries eternal value. Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Ephesians 5:1-5:16. When you center your life on me, you will know how to discern what to prioritize and what to release. It is not about doing more, it is about doing what is right. It is not a crowded schedule that makes you wise, but a heart that knows when to pause and listen to me. Learn to give me your mornings before you give them to your work. Learn to schedule times of rest so your soul may be restored. Learn to arrange your days not only to complete tasks, but to nourish your spirit. When you manage your time according to heaven's rhythm, You will see that productivity flows not from haste, but from stability in my presence. The second principle is to choose the right influences. Your heart is soil, and whatever you sow into it will grow. If you continually let in negative noise, distorted views, and chaotic streams of information, your heart will soon grow dry. Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. 1 Corinthians 1:5-3. My child, you cannot hope to live strong in your purpose if you surround yourself only with voices that pull you backward. Choose influences that nourish your faith, encourage your soul, and draw you closer to me. This does not mean you must completely withdraw from the world, but it does mean you must set boundaries. Like a gatekeeper who chooses who may enter the city, you must guard your mind, allowing only what aligns with truth to enter. Read what builds your faith. Listen to what directs you toward hope. Speak with those who urge you to pursue the light. When you do this, the soil of your heart will be protected from thorns and weeds. The third principle is to maintain continual prayer. Prayer is not a ritual but breath. It is not merely long words spoken in a gathering, but an unceasing conversation with me. Pray without ceasing. 1 Thessalonians 5:1-7. Prayer is when you lift up your small joys as well as your hidden sorrows. Prayer is when you step out the door and whisper, "Come with me, Lord." Prayer is when you receive bad news and cry, "Hold me up." Prayer is when you see someone suffering and plead, "Touch them, Lord." When prayer becomes your breathing, you will never lack spiritual oxygen. Do not wait for a crisis to pray. Learn to pray in the midst of ordinary life. Every moment can become an altar. Every task can become an offering if it is placed within prayer. The fourth principle is to cultivate gratitude. Gratitude is not a fleeting feeling, but a decision to see grace in the midst of lack. When you give thanks, you do not deny the hard reality, but you choose to see me at work within it. In everything give thanks, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. 1 Thessalonians 5:1-8. My child, when you practice gratitude, your mind will be renewed, your burdens will lift, and joy will flood in. Gratitude is like a new set of eyes that lets you see miracles in the smallest details. A simple meal becomes a sign of provision. A small word of encouragement becomes proof of my care. An ordinary, uneventful day becomes a covering of protection. When you are thankful, you will no longer live in scarcity because you will always see abundance. These four principles are not a burden, but the keys to a life flowing in grace. When you steward your time wisely, you are no longer swept into chaos. When you choose your influences carefully, you are no longer easily pulled by noise. When you maintain prayer, you are no longer suffocated by pressure. When you cultivate gratitude, you are no longer bound by lack. And when these four principles work together, you will find that you walk not merely by effort, but in the current of divine purpose. I do not want you merely to know my purpose. I want you to live in it. Purpose is not only a distant destination, it is the rhythm of everyday life. It is woven from the hours you manage, from the voices you listen to, from the prayers you lift, from the words of thanksgiving you speak. When you are faithful in these small matters, you will see a profound transformation. You will not only walk in the right path, but you will become a path for others to find me. You will shine not by artificial lights, but by the true fire from the altar of your own heart. And when the world is chaotic, when darkness spreads, you will walk firmly because you have been shaped by divine principles. My beloved child, when I bring you into a new season, I am not looking for fleeting enthusiasm, but for deep-rooted faithfulness. Even a young tree needs time to take root before it can grow tall. Likewise, you cannot step into new territory carrying only temporary passion. You need a rhythm of life shaped by faithfulness. That is why I have placed a process in your life, so you can learn to maintain your walk in grace through each stage. Not everything happens overnight. I work step by step, day by day, stage by stage. If you are faithful, you will see that blessing not only comes but also remains. In the first 30 days after a transition, I invite you to take root. This is not the time to rush into all activities, but to dig deeply into me. Establish an altar in your home, a place for prayer reading, my word and worship. Do not undervalue the quiet mornings spent with me, for it is then that I sow seeds that shape your new season. Choose silence over noise. Take time to observe, listen, and recognize the signs I place around you. This is the season when roots must go deep. Otherwise, when the testing winds blow, you will be easily shaken. As Psalm 1 says, "Blessed is the one who delights in the law of the Lord and meditates on it day and night." That person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season and whose leaf does not wither. In the next 60 days, I call you to establish rhythms of home worship and community life. This is the time to build a life of worship not just for yourself, but for your family and those around you. Let your home become a place where my light shines, a small center of my presence. Invite me to the table, to your conversations, into every corner of your home. Do not think worship only happens in a large church. Your home can become a temple. When you read scripture with your family, pray together, and praise me, simply you are laying a foundation for blessing. In this stage, I will also place you into the right relationships so you can learn to walk alongside others. Do not fear when I adjust your circle. I am refining it to keep only those who share heart and purpose with you. In the following 90 days, I call you to establish a rhythm of service. This is not the time to keep everything for yourself, but to let what I have planted in you become a blessing to others. You have taken root, you have built a foundation of worship, and now let the water flow outward. Start with small acts, a word of encouragement, a shared meal, a prayer for someone in pain. Do not wait for a big opportunity to serve. Let love flow in the small things. For in my eyes, no act of service is small. Whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant. Mark 10:43. When you are faithful in serving, you will see your own soul expand and the fire within you burn brighter than ever. My child, the 30, 60, 90-day framework is not a rigid formula, but a structure for you to see that I work in progress. I know you may become discouraged when you do not see immediate results, but do not forget that seeds take time to sprout. What you sow today may not bear fruit tomorrow, but the harvest will surely come. I never abandon my seeds. I never let your labor be in vain. The matter is not how quickly you reap, but whether you faithfully sow and water each day. Do not measure the success of a new season with the natural eye. Others may look and see nothing changed, but I see roots going deep. Others may expect instant results, but I am patiently building a foundation so that you may stand strong for the long term. As you continue to take root, continue in worship, continue in service, you are creating a new cycle. Faithfulness produces strength, strength produces influence, and influence produces a harvest. Do not forget all of this unfolds in my appointed time. As Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. You cannot force spring to arrive early, nor can you hold summer forever. What you can do is remain faithful in your season. When it is time to sow, sow. When it is time to water, water. When it is time to wait, wait. And when the harvest comes, reap with gratitude. It is this patience that brings lasting stability. It is this faithfulness that makes blessings not only arrive, but remain, becoming a legacy. I do not call you merely to pass through a season and collapse. I call you to build a steadfast life, a lamp that burns continually, a heart that does not waver. So remember, the first 30 days take root. The next 60 days establish worship and community. The following 90 days serve in love. As you follow this process, you will see not only your life transformed, but those around you touched as well. Your home becomes a place of safety, Your community becomes a vineyard. Every act of love becomes a thread connecting many souls to me. And then you will realize that divine purpose is not a mountain to conquer, but a rhythm to maintain, a rhythm tied to me, the one who has gone before, walks beside, and will always remain with you. My beloved, I know there are days when you feel your strength depleted. There are mornings when you awake with a heavy heart, wondering if you can go on. There are moments when the darkness of circumstances seems to obscure every ray of light. But my child, I want you to hold fast to one truth: hope from the heavens never fades. It is not like the fleeting lamps of the world, bright one moment, dim the next. It is not swayed by change or circumstance. Hope from me is like an underground river flowing beneath the earth. No matter how dry the surface, the water still silently nourishes the roots. You may hear the enemy whispering, "Is it worth it? Are you deceiving yourself? Can you really stand?" Those arrows of doubt fly incessantly, trying to pierce the armor of your soul. But I have given you a shield, a steadfast hope. When you stand in the battle of the soul, hope becomes your defense. It answers every question with the certainty that the one who promised is faithful. Hebrews 1:0-3. When you cannot see the path ahead, hope reminds you that I have gone before. When you feel worthless, hope reminds you that you are my masterpiece. When you fall, hope lifts you up, reminding you that a stumble is not the end, but part of the process of transformation. My child, hope does not deny the reality of hardship, but it places that reality under the light of my promise. It does not pretend there are no tears, but it declares that they will be wiped away. It does not deny that battles exist, but it proclaims that victory has already been won through me. When Paul sat in prison, he still sang praises, for the hope within him was not dependent on chains or stone walls, but on the one who never changes. So can you. Even when circumstances around you feel like a dark prison, you can sing because hope within you rises above the chains. Remember, hope is not vague optimism. It is not merely, "everything will be okay." Your hope is rooted in a solid reality. I have died and risen. I have overcome the world, and I am at work even when you cannot yet see it. That hope is like an anchor for your soul, keeping you from being swept away in storms. We have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. Hebrews 6:1-9. When you feel tossed about, remember that you already have an anchor. When you are pulled in every direction, remember that this anchor is connected straight to the throne of grace. I know, my child, that trials not only hurt the body, but also wear down the soul. Sometimes you are not exhausted by work, but by waiting. Sometimes you do not fall from lack of provision, but from unanswered questions. Sometimes you are not discouraged by difficulty, but by not knowing when it will end. Yet in the emptiness of waiting, hope becomes sustenance. It keeps you from giving up when prayers are unanswered. It keeps you standing when dreams seem distant. It keeps you believing when all evidence seems against you. Do not underestimate hope, for it is the invisible strength that upholds your entire soul. There are those around you who have lost hope. They no longer expect good things. They live merely to survive. But I call you to be a bearer of hope, not to hoard it for yourself. When you hold hope from heaven, your gaze changes. You begin to look at others with compassion, knowing that even a glimmer of hope can save a soul drowning in darkness. Your words become cool water for the thirsty. Your actions testify that light still exists. Hope does not only save you, it flows outward to save others. You may ask, how can I maintain hope when everything seems against me? My child, return to my word. My word is the fuel for the fire of hope. When you read it, meditate on it, and treasure it in your heart, hope is nourished. When you praise me, even in pain, hope is rekindled. When you choose gratitude over complaint, hope grows. Hope does not arise naturally. It must be cultivated and protected. The enemy will do everything to extinguish it, but I have given you the authority to nurture it. Treat hope like a lamp needing oil. Every prayer, every act of trust, every word of thanks is a drop of oil keeping the flame alive. My beloved, I see the times you rise even with a broken heart. I see the moments you smile even with red, tear-stained eyes. I see when you still praise me though answers have not come. Do not think heaven is unaware. In these moments your hope echoes like a song reverberating to my throne, more pleasing than any offering of gold or silver. When you choose faith in the darkness, heaven rejoices. When you choose hope over despair, you declare that I am faithful no matter the circumstances. Do not tether your hope to outcomes. Anchor it in me. If your hope relies on circumstances, it will falter when they change. But if your hope rests on me, it will stand, for I do not change. Even when you do not see the miracle, hope can bloom. Even when rescue is delayed, hope can sing. For hope is not merely waiting for something to happen. It is the certainty that the one who promised is present. My child, let hope become your life's energy. Let it lift you when weary, sustain you, when trembling drive you, when you want to give up. Let it illuminate your eyes to see what I am doing. Let it soften your heart to love even when hurt. Let it nourish your faith so you continue to walk. And when you hold tightly to hope, trials no longer become prisons, but training grounds. Pain is no longer an ending, but fertile ground for fruit. Storms are no longer destroyers, but winds that fill the sails of your journey. My beloved, I do not promise that challenges will not come, but I promise that your hope in me will never be cut off. Just as the olive yields oil when pressed, just as the grape yields wine when crushed, you will see that pressure does not destroy hope, it refines it. And when you stand in the storm still holding the flame of hope, you become living proof that I am faithful, and no darkness can extinguish the light I have placed within you. My beloved child, I have not placed hope within you merely for you to keep it to yourself. Just as a lamp is not lit to be hidden under a bowl, hope is not given to be buried in the heart. It is entrusted to shine forth, to spread, to transform the community around you. When I sow hope into your soul, I at the same time place upon you the calling to become a channel. You are not a stagnant pond, but a flowing stream. If you keep it only for yourself, hope will wither, but if you let it flow, it will always remain fresh, always abundant. Do you know that a single ray of hope can rescue a soul standing on the brink of despair? Someone may need only one word of encouragement, one look of compassion, one small gesture of love to find a reason to go on. When you keep hope and share it, you are working with me in the work of redemption. You are becoming my hands, my eyes, and my voice to the world. As Paul wrote, may the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that you may abound in hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. Romans 1:5-1-3. When you are full of hope, it overflows not only through your words, but through the very atmosphere around you. Others will sense the difference, as if a light were surrounding you. I call you not only to walk in hope, but also to sow hope. Let your words become seeds planted in the hearts of others. Let your smile be a sunbeam warming cold hearts. Let the way you face adversity become a living testimony that darkness does not overcome light. Do not think you must preach long sermons or do grand deeds to sow hope. Simply live out what I have planted in you, and you have already become a messenger of hope. Just as a person lighting a single candle in a dark room can dispel the night, even a small light is enough to drive back the shadows. My child, the world is thirsting for hope. So many are caught in the whirlpool of anxiety, despair, and bitterness. So many hearts have grown calloused from wounds. So many minds are clouded by lies. They do not need another empty philosophy. They need a real flame, and I have placed that flame within you. When you walk in hope, you carry a different atmosphere. Others may not be able to name it, but they will feel it. At your workplace, in your family, among friends, you can become a pillar of light. Do not underestimate that influence. Though you may think yourself small, I can use you to ignite a whole city, even a generation. Look at the witnesses of Scripture. Joseph, though sold into slavery, kept hope, and that very hope saved an entire nation from famine. Daniel, though thrown into the lion's den, held on to hope, and his faithfulness led a foreign king to acknowledge my power. Paul and Silas, singing praises in prison, saw their chains shaken and the jailer's heart opened to salvation. These were people who did not keep hope only for themselves. They let it become a fire that spread and transformed communities, even nations. My beloved, you too are called to become a link in that great chain. Hope is not merely a positive feeling. It is a divine strategy against darkness. The enemy does not only want to steal your joy, it wants to extinguish your hope, because when hope dies, faith falters. But when hope burns, faith stays alive. When hope is shared, the community is upheld. When hope spreads, an entire generation can rise. This is why I call you to guard and cultivate hope every day, not only within yourself, but around you. You may ask, how can I sow hope when I myself feel lacking? My child, it is precisely when you share hope in your own lack that hope becomes most authentic. When the widow at Zarephath gave Elijah her last bit of bread, I turned scarcity into abundance. 1 Kings 1:7-1:2-16. In the same way, when you sow hope in your weakness, I will multiply it. When you lift others while you yourself are weary, you will find new strength flowing from me. Hope does not run dry when shared, it multiplies. Practice seeing people through the lens of hope. Do not look at them through their failures, but through the potential I have placed in them. Do not view them by their past, but by the promises I have spoken over them. When you treat others with hope, you give them a mirror in which they can see themselves under a new light. A word of hope can break the chains of shame. A gesture of trust can revive a dead dream. Patient perseverance can melt walls of bitterness. You cannot know the power of a small act when it is done with hope. I call you to make hope the atmosphere of your life. Let it permeate every word you speak, every decision you make, every relationship you build. When you enter a room, let hope walk in with you. When you converse with someone, let hope be present in your voice. When you pray, let hope guide your petitions. When you serve, let hope be your motive. When hope becomes the atmosphere you carry, you will see transformation not only in yourself, but in your whole community. Hope never stops with one person. It is like a flame passed from one torch to another. When you light one person, that person lights another, and little by little the entire darkness is illuminated. That is how revival begins, not on grand stages, but in small hearts that know how to keep and share hope. And as hope spreads, darkness cannot withstand it. Darkness does not need to be driven out by force. It disappears when light appears. Therefore, let hope not only save you, but also save many others. Let it become the legacy you leave behind. Sow hope for the next generation through your words, your actions, your example. Remember that every ray of hope you sow will never be lost. It will grow, bear fruit, and continue to spread. And one day when you look back, you will see that you have become a link in the great stream of heavenly hope. A stream that began with me, flowed through you, and continues to many generations. My beloved child, I give you hope not only to uphold your soul in hard days, not only for you to sow it into the community around you, but to make it a flame guiding your whole journey ahead. Hope from heaven never stops in the present. It always turns you toward the future, opening a horizon brighter than you can imagine. You may be walking through the wilderness, but hope is the pillar of fire going before you. You may be passing through dark nights, but hope is the dawn announcing a new day. Not because everything has become easy, but because I, the source of hope, am still with you. You often fear the future because your eyes cannot see it all. You ask yourself, what awaits me tomorrow? Am I strong enough? Will I reap the harvest or fall along the way? But my child, the future does not rest in your hands, it rests in mine. Hope is the key that allows you to let go of control and entrust it to me. It reminds you that I have already been in tomorrow before you arrive. Like a traveler holding a map, you do not need to see every detail. You only need to know you are on the right path. And hope is the compass pointing you straight to me. Hope is the strength that keeps you from taking shortcuts. The world will tempt you with easy roads, with quick solutions that are hollow at the core. But hope reminds you that what I have promised will come at the appointed time, neither early nor late. Though the vision tarries, wait for it will surely come, it will not delay. Habakkuk 2:3. If you hold fast to hope, you will learn patience. You will wait for the harvest season in trust instead of hastily picking unripe fruit. You will stand firm when others fall, because you know true blessing does not come through haste, but through faithfulness. Do not forget, hope is not only for you personally, it is also the legacy you leave for the generation after you. When you live in hope, you are laying a foundation for your children to walk upon. Remember Abraham, he did not hope only for himself, but for descendants as numerous as the stars of the sky and the sand on the seashore. Remember David, when he praised me in his trials, those songs became psalms for countless generations to sing. You are the same. When you keep the flame of hope, you are writing sacred pages your children will read, learn from, and continue walking by. You will become the sower for the next generation to reap, and on that day I will honor you for your faithfulness. My child, sometimes your hope feels weak, only a flickering spark. But do not fear, for even a single spark is enough to drive out thick darkness. I do not require you to be strong at all times. I only ask that you persist in holding on to that small flame. Like the oil lamp of the 5 wise virgins, just a little oil kept them ready until the bridegroom came. Matthew 25. Beloved, keep the oil of hope. Do not let it run dry. Supply it with prayer, with thanksgiving, with meditation on my word, with trust in the night. When the oil remains, the fire will not go out. And when the fire burns, hope lives on. Hope is a mirror reflecting the future, helping you see yourself not only as a survivor, but as a victor. The enemy wants to define you by failure, by wounds, by the past. But hope reminds you that your future is written by me, not by your pain. When you see yourself through hope, you see yourself as I see you, a warrior, an heir, a masterpiece of grace. When you see the world through hope, you see opportunity instead of dead ends, doors instead of walls, a field of blessing instead of a barren desert. Hope changes the way you see, and from that, the way you live. My beloved child, hope is also the torch you carry on your pilgrimage. When you walk through dark valleys, lift up that torch. When you face storms, shield it with the hands of prayer. When you are weary, pass the flame to someone beside you so you both can keep walking. Hope not only lights your path, but also for those groping behind you. You do not know who is seeing the light you carry, but I do. A soul may find the way out simply because you did not let your lamp go out. A community may be lifted because you kept the flame burning to the end. Hope is heaven's divine strategy. It is not naive, nor is it mere dreaming. It is living evidence that I am still at work. The world may mock it, but I call it a weapon. When you hope, the enemy is confounded because it cannot extinguish the light in your heart. When you hope, heaven rejoices because it is proof that you still cling to my word. When you hope, an entire generation is encouraged because they see one person who chose to stand firm despite every adversity. Therefore, nurture the flame of hope as a treasure. Do not let it be blown out by the winds of doubt. Do not let it be drenched by the rains of disappointment. Do not let it be worn down by indifference. Guard it, feed it, share it. And remember, hope from me never dies, for it springs from the well of eternal life. When you walk with hope, you are not only moving toward the future, you are bringing that future into the present. You are living in the certainty that the light has already won, and the darkness cannot swallow it. My beloved child, here is my promise. If you keep hope to the very end, you will never regret it. One day when you stand before my throne, you will see every tear you shed has become a seed for harvest. You will see each long night opening into a new morning. You will see that every time you chose hope over despair, you wrote a new chapter in the eternal book. And when you hear my voice say, "Well done, good and faithful servant, enter into the joy of your Lord," that will be the reward of a life that keeps the flame of hope burning until the last moment. You must know this unshakable truth: you never walk alone. Every step you take, my footprints are already there. Every time you are about to enter a new chapter, I have already opened the page and written a promise. Every time you worry about what lies ahead, I have gone before you and carved a path through what seemed like a desert. I never call you to go without preparing the way. I never call you to fight without equipping you. Just as the pillar of cloud and the pillar of fire led Israel through the wilderness, I myself am the one leading you on your journey. My child, I know the longing in your heart for certainty, to see the whole picture. You want to know every step, every detail clearly. But I intentionally do not reveal it all, not to confuse you, but to teach you trust. If you saw everything, you would rely on your own strength. But when you see only one step, you cling to my hand. This is how I grow faith in you, so that faith is no longer theory but becomes your very breath. Remember my word. In Psalm 119:105, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. You do not need a torch to light 100 miles. You need just enough light for the next step, so that you must trust I am walking right before you. When I go before you, I not only mark out the way, I also stand as your shield. Moses trembled when the people were trapped between the Red Sea and the Egyptian army, but I sent the wind to part the waters and opened a dry path. Joshua stood before Jericho not knowing what to do, but I gave the command, and the walls fell with a shout. David small before a giant, but I made the little stone a weapon of victory. Beloved child, do not think you must be strong enough, wise enough, or rich enough to overcome trials. I myself am your strength in weakness. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 1:2-9. You do not need to prove your worth by your own power. You only need to let me be your strength. My child, remember this. There were times when you thought you were about to collapse, yet you still stood. There were moments when every door was shut, yet suddenly another opened. There were refusals that once wounded you, but later you realized they had kept you from disaster. That was me. My child, the one who sees farther than your eyes can see. I know what would destroy you if it came too soon, and what would become a blessing if it arrived at its appointed time. You see only the moment, but I see eternity. You read only a chapter, but I have written the whole book. Therefore do not fear what you do not yet understand, and do not doubt when things are delayed. I have never left you alone. Beloved one, I also go before you to prepare your very heart. Many times you have thought the desires within you were random, but in truth it is I who planted them to lead you into a new season. When you feel unsettled with your present state, it is I stirring a holy restlessness. When you long for something deeper than material things, it is I drawing you nearer to myself. When you dream of things beyond your own ability, it is I writing my plans upon your heart. I am not only preparing circumstances, I am shaping you. Like a potter needs the clay, I am forming your soul, so that you can bear what I am giving you to carry. My child, I have said I go to prepare a place for you, John 1:4-2. If my only Son has gone ahead to prepare eternity for you, would I then abandon you on these brief paths of earth if I have planned eternal life for you? How much more are the days of your earthly journey held within my care? Be at peace, for every detail of the journey rests in my hands. Dear heart, yes, you will walk through valleys. There will be fierce winds, heavy nights, and battles that seem unending. But remember, this nothing happens outside of my sovereignty. I do not promise to shield you from every hardship, but I do promise to go ahead of you to prepare and to walk beside you to uphold you. When you are afraid, I am your shield. When you are exhausted, I am your strength. When you are confused, I am your guide. Even when you feel lost, I am in fact holding your hand and leading you along a path already written. Look back at my people Israel in the wilderness. They had no map, no experience, only one certainty, my presence going before them. When the pillar of cloud stopped, they stopped. When the pillar of fire moved, they moved. You are the same, my child. I do not expect you to understand everything on your own. I only ask you to learn how to watch for my signs and follow. That is the secret to never losing your way. If you train your eyes to look at me, you will always know when to move, when to wait, and when to turn back. Beloved, I have seen the fears in your heart. You worry that if you step out, you will fail. You fear that if you let go, you will lose. You tremble before change because you do not know the outcome. But my child's strength does not come from knowing everything beforehand, it comes from knowing who goes before you. When you know that it is I, your fears begin to dissolve. You will learn to step out onto the water as Peter did, because your eyes are on me, not on the waves. I am never surprised. Storms do not startle me. Closed doors do not confuse me. Delays do not catch me off guard. On the contrary, I use all these things to train and prepare you. A closed door is not rejection, but protection. A delay is not forgetfulness, but the time needed for your heart to be ready. The storm does not rise to destroy you, but to reveal my power within you. Trust that every step has meaning, even when you cannot yet see it. Let me be your strength, not only in great moments, but in every small detail. When you sit down and sigh, I am the breath that lifts you up. When you smile through your pain, I am the hidden joy within you. When you reach out to help someone, though you yourself lack, I am the inexhaustible source. When you kneel to pray, I am the one who hears and answers. I do not act only in great miracles. I am present in the ordinary moments of your life. You may think you must prove your worth through achievements, but my child, I love you not for what you do, but because you belong to me. True strength does not flow from perfection, but from allowing me to work in your weakness. Do not fear your frailty. It is the place where my grace is made complete. Do not fear falling, I have already prepared the way back. Do not fear your tears, I hold them like precious pearls in my hand. My child, I have already written the ending. You are not headed for defeat. You are moving toward destiny. This does not mean you will never stumble, but it guarantees that stumbling is not the end. There is no battle I have not won, no mountain I have not crossed, no darkness my light cannot pierce. When you hold my hand, you will not only survive, you will overcome. When you walk with me, you will not only finish the journey, but finish it in glory. Therefore, be courageous. Walk step by step with the confidence that I will go before you and walk with you. Fix your eyes on me rather than on the darkness. Let your ears listen to my voice rather than the noise of illusions. Let your heart rest in my presence rather than in the anxieties of the world. You do not need to know everything. You only need to know that I am the one leading you. And when you know this, you will never fear the future, for the future already holds me. My beloved, as I go ahead to prepare the way, I also desire to teach you how to walk that way with wisdom, for a divine purpose is not only received through promise, but sustained through daily living. No seed can grow without care, just as no promise can be fulfilled without your cooperation. I do not place a burden on your shoulders, but I call you to learn to live within principles that will strengthen your spirit. When you walk in spiritual discipline, you will find that destiny is no longer a distant goal, but becomes the rhythm of your everyday. In the first 30 days following a season of transition, the most important thing is not how much you accomplish, but how deeply you root yourself in me. Let your home have an altar, not grand or ornate, but a place where you regularly sit in stillness to hear my voice. Allow the early hours of the morning to become a time of sowing, reading the Word, praying, journaling, what I whisper to your heart. Do not rush into a flurry of activity. Prioritize connection. For beloved, the roots must grow deep before the tree can reach upward. Consider the example of Joshua before leading the people across Jordan. Before the miracle unfolded, he was called to remain close to the Ark of the Covenant and to keep a reverent distance, as he observed Joshua 3:3-4. This means that before you can go far, you must learn to cling tightly to my presence. In these 30 days, lay the foundation for your new rhythm of life. Establish habits that you can sustain over time. Do not underestimate the small acts: a whispered prayer, a page in a spiritual journal, a deliberate choice to avoid distractions. This is the time for roots to take hold, so that later, when winds and storms come, nothing can uproot you. As you enter the 60-day period, the focus gradually shifts from rooting to growth. Begin to cultivate your spiritual disciplines with consistency and intention. Let your worship become a lifestyle, not just a moment. Sing, meditate, serve, and align your daily actions with the values I have placed in your heart. Every step, every act of obedience, every time you choose to walk in faith rather than fear, becomes a strand of life-giving nourishment that strengthens your inner tree. Build a rhythm of giving and receiving grace. Extend my love to those around you, and allow my Spirit to transform even the ordinary tasks into acts of devotion. By the 90th day, your spiritual life should begin to bear visible fruit. The altar at home, the morning prayers, the intentional living, all these will merge into a sustainable rhythm. You will find that serving others is no longer a burden but a natural outflow of the abundance I have sown within you. Your life will become a testimony of my promises lived out daily. The words I have spoken over you will no longer be abstract truths, but a reality experienced in every moment. The 30, 60, 90-day model is not a rigid formula, but a divine framework, guiding you to plant, nurture, and harvest a life rooted in my presence, thriving in worship, and flowing in grace. Beloved child, remember this: the goal is not to reach some distant destination, but to live each day in the rhythm of my purposes. As you manage your time with wisdom, filter the influences that surround you, cultivate prayer, and maintain a heart of gratitude, you will discover a profound transformation. You will not only walk rightly, but become a path for others to find me. Let your life reflect my faithfulness, a living altar of devotion, and a conduit of the eternal fruit I desire to produce in the world. Beloved child, after the roots have gone deep, the next 60 days are the time to build an altar in your home and to shape a rhythm of community. Do not keep faith as a private secret. Let it become the very atmosphere of your household. When you pray with your family, when you share my word at the table, when you sing praises in simplicity, you are turning your home into a small sanctuary. These simple practices create a safe haven where angels encamp around you, and my peace fills every corner. This is also the time to connect with those who share your faith. I did not create you to walk alone. You need brothers and sisters, you need community, you need encouragement and correction. Do not be afraid when I change the circle around you. I will remove relationships that no longer help you move forward and bring new companions into your life. Cherish them, pray together, lift one another up, and build together. For within the community the flame burns brighter and hope multiplies. Beloved child, when you have taken root and built your home altar, the following 90 days are the time to step into the rhythm of service. Blessings are not given for you to keep for yourself, but to flow out to many. Do not think that service must always be something grand. I see and treasure every small act: a timely word of encouragement, a smile, a shared meal, a quiet prayer. These things in my eyes carry eternal weight. Remember what I have said. Whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant. Mark 1:043. You do not need to wait until you are perfect to serve. It is in your weakness, in your honesty, in your small acts of surrender that I display my power. When you extend your hand to help another, I am extending my hand through you. When you choose to forgive, you are breaking the chains of darkness. When you listen patiently, you are becoming an instrument of healing. You may ask, why are these 3 stages necessary? Because I know how easily your heart becomes impatient. You often want instant results, but seeds cannot bear fruit overnight. The first 30 days are the time to sow and take root. The next 60 days are the time to nurture and shape. The following 90 days are the time to pour out and spread wide. When you follow this rhythm, you will see that transformation is not just a moment, but a process. My child, be faithful. Do not grow weary when you cannot yet see the fruit. Do not give up when the ground seems dry. For I have promised, let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Galatians 6:9. If you keep rooting, keep building the altar, keep serving, you will see the harvest arrive at its appointed time, and that blessing will not fade quickly, for it has been built on a firm foundation. My dear one, I not only go before you to open the way, I also teach you how to live sustainably in blessing. You are not only called to begin, but to continue. You are not only called to receive, but also to give. You are not only walking alone, but drawing a community with you. And when you remain faithful to the 30-60-90 rhythm, you will see your life become more than a personal journey. It will be part of the great story I am writing for an entire generation. Beloved, in a world full of trials and change, there are times when you think you need strength from muscles, resources, or connections to stand firm. But the truth is, what holds your soul steady is the heavenly hope I have planted within you. This hope is not as fragile as a candle easily snuffed by the wind, nor is it dependent on the uncertain currents of the world. It is an eternal flame burning, even when the darkness is at its thickest. It is a hidden spring flowing beneath dry ground, releasing living water when every other source runs dry. It is the divine breath that helps you stand, keep moving, and not surrender in hardship. You often hear people say to one another, "Keep hoping," but in their hearts they treat it only as comfort words, a temporary balm for wounds that seem unhealable. But the hope I give you is entirely different. It is not probability, not luck, not tied to present circumstances. It springs from my unchanging nature, the one who fulfills every promise, the one who never delays. Remember Abraham, though his body was old, he still believed and waited when there was nothing left in the flesh to hold on to. It was heavenly hope that kept him steadfast, and through it he became the father of many nations. Remember David, while fleeing for his life, he still sang that his soul must put its trust in the Lord. If those before you held on to hope in their darkest hours, then you too can hold it today, for its source does not come from you but from me. There are nights when you feel swallowed by darkness, when your prayers seem to fall into the void, and your pain becomes a burden no one understands. Yet in those very hours, heavenly hope whispers to your soul that dawn will still come. You do not need to see the sun immediately. You only need to trust the one who set the order of the universe. The sun has never forgotten to rise, and I have never forgotten my promises. This hope is the oil lamp, shining in the night, keeping your feet from stumbling, helping you see the path when everything around you is obscure. My word remains a lamp to your feet, a light to your path, and in that light you know you are not alone. Beloved child, there are days when your strength feels completely spent. You do not want to take another step. Your hands hang down, your mind is weary with no motivation left to go on. Yet it is in that very moment that heavenly hope becomes breath, like invisible oxygen you cannot see but cannot live without. This hope lifts you once more, gives you courage to face a new day, compels you to sow one more time to pray, one more time to believe, one more time even when results are not yet visible. And it is this perseverance that opens the harvest I have already appointed. As the scripture reminds you, do not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time, if you do not give up, you will reap. You may wonder, but what if what I hope for does not come to pass, beloved child? I want you to understand clearly. Heavenly hope is not a ticket for every personal desire to be fulfilled. It is not meant to satisfy your own will, but to anchor you in the certainty that everything I do is good, even when it does not match what you expect. Look upon the cross. On that day, the disciples thought all hope was lost, that the dream had died. Yet what seemed to be failure became the doorway to great redemption for humanity. Heavenly hope is not extinguished in the darkness. It transforms the darkness into a beginning for new life. Worldly optimism only exists when circumstances are favorable, but heavenly hope remains steadfast even when everything falls apart. When you are weak, hope reminds you that I am the healer. When you are in need, hope whispers that I am the provider. When all doors are closed, hope points to the path I can open in the wilderness, making rivers flow where the ground is parched. Jeremiah wept amid the desolation of Jerusalem, yet he declared that my steadfast mercy is renewed every morning. This is the power of heavenly hope. It does not deny the reality of pain, but looks through it to see, my hand is still at work. Heavenly hope does more than sustain your emotions. It transforms the way you live. Those who hold hope do not bury themselves in bitterness, for they know that justice ultimately belongs to me. Those who hold hope are generous in love, knowing that eternal reward cannot be taken away. Those who hold hope will not bow to temptation, for they know the narrow path leads to life. That hope permeates your words, your eyes, your smile, every daily action, so that you walk not in fear but in trust. It awakens courage, making you ready to forgive, to give, to love, even when it is not easy. Heavenly hope is like the firm anchor of the soul. The seas of life may rise in waves, storms may rage, but when you drop the anchor deep into the promises I have spoken, you will not drift. The waves may strike hard, yet you remain secure, for the anchor holds fast in me, the one who never changes. And this hope is not only for the present, it opens a door to the eternal perspective. It reminds you that pain is temporary, trials are fleeting, and the glory I have prepared for you will never fade. As the Apostle Paul wrote, our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. I give you heavenly hope as an endless stream of energy. Hold it tightly as you would hold your very breath, for it is the life force that enables you to overcome every trial. When you allow this hope to burn brightly within your heart, it not only guides you, but also illuminates those around you, so that they too may find strength in the darkness. This hope is proof that I am still at work, that the story is not yet finished, that the destiny I have written for you is still unfolding. Never let go of hope, for it is a divine gift, an invisible yet undeniable power, and a sure sign that you never walk alone. Beloved child, I know that deep within you there are silent spaces where you often ask, what will the future hold? Will I have enough strength to finish the journey? Will my efforts yield fruit or vanish like morning mist? You look ahead with a mix of longing and anxiety, of anticipation and fear. But today I want you to know that when you allow heavenly hope to become your source of life, the door before you is no longer a wall blocking the way, but a path opening up. I do not call you to live in uncertainty, but to step into a new chapter with courage, for I have gone before you. The future I prepare is not a dark void, but a picture I have already painted with the colors of grace. I do not promise that you will never face trials, but I promise that trials will not destroy you. I do not promise that your path will always be strewn with roses, but I promise that your feet will not stumble when you hold my hand. Look back on your life, and you will see countless times I have turned adversity into opportunity, loss into blessing, brokenness into new beginnings. So why fear tomorrow when I am already there? Understand that entering a new chapter is not only about changing external circumstances, but also about inner transformation. Often you long for me to open a new door, yet you do not realize that I am preparing your heart to walk through it. A young tree without deep roots can be uprooted by the slightest wind. Likewise, if your soul is not rooted in me, great blessings may become a burden. That is why I lead you through seasons of waiting, so that your heart does not only long for results, but also learns to stand firm in all things. I see within you the longing to live a life of meaning. You do not want to drift through like a shadow, to merely exist without leaving a mark. You yearn to be used for something greater, and my child, I tell you that this very desire has come from me. But to step into the future I have prepared, you must learn to trust me, even when the map in your hands is incomplete. Faith is not seeing the entire road. It is daring to walk when there is only enough light for the next step. When you step, I will open. When you believe, I will act. When you surrender, I will fulfill. My child, do not let the past bind you. There are memories you still cling to, wounds you still carry, and they slow your stride. But I tell you, no failure of yesterday has the right to define your tomorrow when you are in me. What the enemy meant to destroy, I will transform into lessons, into strength, into testimony. Do not look back too long lest you miss what I am setting before your eyes. The open future does not rest in your ability to control everything, but in your willingness to let me lead. You may fear that you are not capable enough, not wise enough, not strong enough. But my child, I do not call you based on your own ability, but on my power. When I called Moses, he thought he could not speak well. When I called Gideon, he called himself the least in his tribe. When I called the disciples, they were but ordinary fishermen. Yet those very people, when they placed their hope in me, became instruments that changed the world. If I did that with them, I will also do that with you. Your future is not locked by fear, by failure, or by the limits you set for yourself. It opens with the key of faith and hope. Picture a great door slowly swinging open. From within, light streams out, inviting you in. You do not need to know everything behind it. You only need to know that I stand inside with arms open wide. Step forward, not with trembling, but with the certainty that I walk with you. Every step you place upon the ground, I have already gone ahead to prepare. Every tear you shed, I have gathered in my hand. Every desire you hold, I have etched into my heart. Do not see the future as an exam you must pass, but as an invitation to discover my grace more deeply. Do not look ahead with worry, but with gratitude, because I have chosen you, prepared you, and will walk with you. Remember my word, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 2:9-11. That promise was not only for Israel long ago, but for you today. Let heavenly hope not only be the flame that sustains you in the present, but also the light that leads you into the future. When you hold that hope firmly, you will not fear failure, for you know failure is only a step on the journey. You will not fear loss, for you know I have the power to restore. You will not fear the dark, for you know I am the light that never fades. And as you walk with that hope, all of heaven will bear witness, and the world will see that there is one who walks beside you. Do not delay any longer. The future is not given for you to worry about, but to receive. The new chapter is not for you to stand hesitating outside, but to enter boldly. Give me your fears, release the past, open your heart to what I am placing before you. Choose to trust, choose to step forward, choose to live in grace. For when you choose me, you will never be disappointed. The future is wide open, the new chapter radiant, and I, the one who has loved you from before time, am waiting for you there. My beloved, after I have placed within you the fire of heavenly hope and unfolded before you the picture of a vast future, I also call you to learn to walk in faithfulness in the present. For hope is not only a promise for tomorrow, but also the energy for living fully today. Do not hang the lamp of hope as a distant decoration. Let it become the fire warming every choice, every action, every moment of your life. If you know the future is secure in my hands, then the present is the soil in which you plant seeds with faith. And every small task, every quiet decision, every word spoken in love carries eternal weight. No drop is wasted. You often think that hope only shines when miracles happen, but the truth is that hope burns brightest in the ordinary moments where few take notice. When you choose to forgive someone who hurt you, that is hope at work. When you continue to pray for something yet unseen, that is hope nourishing your soul. When you step out to help someone weak, while you yourself also need lifting, that is hope becoming action. You do not need to perform grand deeds to prove you have hope. It is the faithfulness in small things that is the strongest witness of all. I know there are times when you feel the hope within you is as small as a mustard seed. You fear it will be extinguished, that even a light breeze could blow it away. But my child, I remind you, even the tiniest mustard seed can grow into a large tree, and the smallest hope can become shade and shelter for many. Do not despise the small sparks, for they are what open the way for the blazing Sunday. Heavenly hope never dies, for it is nurtured not by your own strength, but by the very life from me. When you hold on to that flame, I will add oil, I will protect it, I will multiply it. Look at your ordinary days. When you wake, when you work, when you speak, when you rest, each moment can become a place where hope is sown. You do not need to wait for storms to cling to hope. Learn to grasp it even in the calm, for it is the habit of keeping the flame burning on sunny days that will help you stand firm in storms. Do not let the false peace of the world make you careless. Be vigilant, tend your lamp, keep the oil full, so that when darkness comes you will not have to run searching. I know you become discouraged when waiting too long. Sometimes you think, is this hope real? Am I believing in a delusion? But remember, my time is not like your time. What you see as delay, I call preparation. What you see as postponement, I call perfect timing. Just as a seed must spend time hidden under the soil before sprouting, so your hope needs quiet to take root deeply. Do not dig impatiently to see if it has grown. Patiently water it with prayer, protect it with trust, and one day you will see the young sprout emerge green and vibrant in the morning Sunday. Heavenly hope not only keeps you standing, but also transforms you into a source of strength for others. When you choose to trust that light does not shine only for you, but for those faltering around you. When you continue to praise in adversity, others will see and learn to lift their eyes. When you live in hope, you contribute to igniting a revival starting from one heart, spreading to many, until it becomes a sacred flame, filling every place. Therefore, do not think your hope is merely a personal story. It is a piece in the grand plan I am weaving for an entire generation. I see your longing to be used for something great, and I want you to know that faithfully keeping the flame of hope each day is already a great thing. The world measures greatness by fame, by achievements, by numbers. I measure greatness by a heart that trusts, by a soul that keeps the fire, by a life that sows in hope even before the harvest is seen. When you choose perseverance, you have triumphed over the darkness. When you choose hope, you reflect my glory. And when you step into the new chapter with that hope, you will become a living testimony that no darkness can swallow the light that comes from me. Let each day you live be a testimony of heavenly hope. Let every smile, every word, every action be a cool stream for those who thirst. Hold your lamp tightly so that when I come you will not be flustered, but will joyfully enter the marriage supper of the Lamb. Remember, hope does not put you to shame, for my love has been poured into your heart. And when you hold fast until the end, that hope will no longer be something you wait for. It will become something you see with your eyes, touch with your hands, and live in eternal fulfillment. My beloved, I have seen how many times you have walked hesitantly, eyes fixed ahead, yet feet faltering in fear. You fear the unknown fear, falling fear, being insufficient. But my child, listen to my words. You do not walk alone, for I have gone before you. Before you set foot into tomorrow, I am already there. Before you open a new door, I have already arranged it. Before you face the battle, I hold the victory firmly. Therefore you can rest assured, not because you are strong, but because you know I am faithful. There are times when the road suddenly changes, when plans you thought were secure dissolve, when carefully made strategies unexpectedly fail. You feel sorrow, disappointment, wondering if I have abandoned you. But my child understands that these interruptions are not to ruin the path, but to adjust it. I have blocked dead ends to keep you from going astray. I have closed certain doors to protect you from what would harm your soul. I will not allow you to enter a dark alley simply because you insist. I love you too much to compromise with impatience. You may think you have lost, but in truth, you are being preserved. You may think you are late, but in fact you are walking in my perfect timing. My child, I go before you not to remove all difficulties, but so that no difficulty can overwhelm you. The mountains remain, but I place strength in your hands to climb. The storms still rise, but I teach you to stand firm amid the wind. The enemy still lurks, but I have equipped you with armor. It is in trials that you will see me closest, that you will know grace is not only a promise, but a power present in every breath. And each time you overcome, you will understand it is not by skill, but by my power. Look back over the pages of your life. When you did not yet know me, I already knew you. When you wandered in darkness, I shone the light. When you were exhausted to the point of collapse, I carried you in my arms. Every tear you shed, I have kept. Every silent prayer you uttered, I have heard. So why fear tomorrow when the past is full of my presence? If I did not abandon you in the darkest days, how could I forsake you on the bright day that is coming? My child, I know you long for certainty, but I call you to walk in faith. Faith is not seeing the entire journey. It is believing I hold your hand. Faith is not the absence of fear. It is stepping forward even while trembling. Faith is not a detailed map. It is light enough for the next step, and as you step, I will make the way. When you walk, I will bring it to completion. When you dare to step onto the water like Peter, you will see the sea become a path. Sometimes you think I am slow, that promises are yet unfulfilled. But my child, I am not as slow as humans think. I am patient because I want you prepared. I want you rooted deeply in me before the great harvest. Remember, I prune the branches I love. I discipline those I cherish. Waiting is not punishment, but grace for you to mature. Do not fear when the path stretches longer than expected. That long path is where I shape you, transforming you from a trembling child into a courageous warrior. I have already written the ending, and it is not a failure. You do not fight to earn victory. You fight from the position of victory. The cross has determined it, the empty tomb has declared it. No power, no darkness can change this truth. So do not let fear deceive you. Step forward, lift your head high, and hold my hand firmly. You are not alone, you are not lost, you are not forsaken. The future already bears my mark, and all you need to do is faithfully walk each small step. My beloved child, as I go before you to open the way, I also want to teach you how to walk so that your flame endures to the end. The path is not only about beginnings, it requires perseverance. No tree grows to full stature after being planted just once without care, and no seed produces fruit if left to the elements. Likewise, the purpose I have for you is not only for you to know it, but to live it each day. Therefore, I give you practical principles not to burden you, but to serve as a framework that protects your soul so you can remain steadfast until my promises are fulfilled. First, learn to manage your time wisely. Time is a precious gift I give you each morning, and every passing moment cannot be regained. Yet many allow their days to be swallowed by meaningless things, letting fleeting worries consume their minds, only to realize too late that they have missed the most important. My child, prioritize what is eternal. Dedicate the best part of your day at my feet, for from there you will receive strength for everything else. Do not think you are wasting time in prayer or reading. My words for these moments lay the foundation for the whole journey. When you give me your morning, your whole day is guided. When you dedicate your evening to me, your sleep is peaceful. When you pause amid busyness to lift your eyes, your soul is renewed. Next, choose carefully the influences you allow into your life. Your soul is like fertile soil, and any seed sown will grow in time. If you continually take in negativity, distorted images, and false perspectives, your heart will soon become barren and lost. But if you allow my words, holy encouragement and constructive voices in your soul will be nourished and vibrant. You cannot live healthily on poison. Likewise, your soul cannot thrive if daily immersed in corruption. Guard the gate of your heart. Choose what draws you closer to me, and avoid what diminishes the flame within you. Do not forget to maintain unceasing prayer. You may think prayer is a brief activity lasting a few minutes, but in truth, prayer is the breath of the soul. You cannot live without breathing, nor without prayer. Do not wait for crises to call to me. Speak with me in every ordinary moment. When you work, when you walk, when you hear encouragement, or when your heart feels heavy, all can become prayer. It may be a whisper, a word of gratitude, or a silent cry. When prayer becomes your rhythm of life, you will never be distant from me, and you will be sensitive to the signs I place around you. Another principle is to cultivate a heart of gratitude. Gratitude does not only arise when you receive great blessings, but also in the small things I give. When you open your eyes to a new day, that alone is reason for thanks. When you have breath, when you have someone to love, when you have an opportunity to start again, all are grace. Gratitude does not deny pain, but reminds you that even in suffering I am at work. It is like a new set of eyes helping you see light, even in surrounding darkness. When you practice thankfulness, worry lessens, joy increases, and faith grows. All these principles together are not meant to bind you in rigidity, but to free you from chaos. When you manage time wisely, you are not swept away by busyness. When you filter influences, you do not go astray. When you maintain prayer, you do not suffocate under pressure. When you cultivate gratitude, you do not sink in lack. Living within these rhythms, you will walk not by your own strength, but within the flow of my grace. My child, I do not call you to be perfect in every step, but I call you to be faithful. Faithfulness is not never falling, but rising each time you stumble. Faithfulness is not accomplishing everything grand, but persevering in the small things. Faithfulness is keeping the flame each day so that when the storm comes, you still stand. Understand that spiritual habits are not mere duties. They are the foundation of life. No one builds a house on sand expecting it to withstand the storm. Likewise, you cannot live strong in me without cultivating these habits daily. The enemy does not need to knock you down immediately. He only needs to distract you, causing you to neglect small steps. He will use busyness to lull you into a daze, making you careless in prayer, inattentive in listening, and dismissive of gratitude. But if you stay alert and maintain your sacred rhythm, you will not be easily deceived. Choose to live each day in holy discipline, not out of fear, but out of love. For it is love that draws you close to me, and love that keeps you faithful to the end. Thank you for receiving today's message. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell to continue receiving living words, building steadfast faith, and walking in the boundless love of the Lord. Amen.